What is up, turtles? It's Krik here with Black Owl Outdoors, and I'm really excited to share with you my latest haversack. Stay tuned. Some of you may remember that not too long ago we did a video on another haversack I made, which I was really proud of. But this one I just recently completed. I think this might be the most proud I've ever been of anything I've ever made. And that's saying a lot because I'm really hard on myself with everything I do in life. So my excitement led me to want to share with you the details of this haversack. This is oil tanned leather and about 3 to 4 ounces, which is a pretty nice lightweight for a bag, but this leather is ridiculously strong. And the oil tanned sort of refers to its treatment with dyes, waxes, and oils. So that gives it strength, but it also gives this pull-up effect. And if you look where my thumb is right now, when I flex the leather, you see how it gets lighter. And that's that pull-up effect, and it's really cool. And then if you just rub your hand on it, you create some heat, it goes back to its sort of resting color or condition, if you will. And that's a really, really sought-after effect for leather. Like most things I make, I try to keep it simple for the simple fact that if you're going to be using something a lot to make repairs or replace a part, it's doable. It's not a really complex thing. Take a look at this closure system right here, and we'll focus on the button or toggle. This is a piece of cherry wood that came out of my grandmother's front yard. You can see the spalting on the top of it right here. And you know, I made this toggle. I think it looks really great. I think the color really matches well with the leather, but it's just put on there just like a button was. So if this comes loose or falls off, you can sew this back on yourself with no problem. And what's keeping this flap tight to the bag is just this simple closure system, which is just a piece of Kodiak lace, which is really nice and strong leather in itself, and then just friction. This piece I sewed on right here, we have 2 points of friction, 2 holes. And then I add this little extra stopper, which is veg tan leather that I dyed. So that, you know, you can pull this down tight. Put that stopper right there. And you got a really nice secure flap with really simple components. And that's the theme with everything I make. Like I said, I really try to keep things simple. To open the haversack's real simple. I just move that stopper down a little bit. Take some slack off the Kodiak lace. And I kept this haversack really simple in the sense that it's just one pocket. It's just the main body of the bag. And I keep the gussets longer on the sides right here, just so that when you're closing the bag, closing the flap, you just get a little bit more protection from the elements. I do all this stitching by hand using the saddle stitch. It's a 2-needle stitch. We've actually done a tutorial. Our only shop video has been on the saddle stitch. And I use a wax, excuse me, I use the waxed synthetic thread for everything on the bag. It's just gonna, you know, allow the stitching to last a very, very long time. And as much as this piece is an accent piece, it's also adding some weight to the flap and just offers some rigidity to this button when it's pulled tight. And I think it just turned out really, really awesome. Like I said, I'm so happy and sort of proud of myself with this haversack. Get this flap shut up. Close this flap, and then we'll move on to some other features. There's 3 pieces of metal on this bag, and the first one is right here. This is a roller buckle of antique brass, which is really solid, and this is the, you know, tensioning, or excuse me, this is the adjustment system for the shoulder strap. You see the strap keeper right here is the same oil tan leather as the bag body. That's a theme with everything I make, is that I try to make everything subtle and simple, but that does not mean it's easy. Every little choice matters, and that's why just adding the the oil tan leather as the strap keeper just adds that more texture and sort of just makes the project more whole, in my opinion. The shoulder strap itself is made out of thick 8 to 9 ounce veg tan leather, which I dyed, hand beveled and burnished the edges. You can see oval punches. These are oval, not square, or not just a regular circle, because over time when you have thick leather, you know, even akin to a belt, that the oval helps spread the stress out of the sort of prong on the buckle. It just helps it last longer. All right, take a look at the shoulder pad. This is in a really big bag. So a shoulder pad may not be necessary, but if I'm trying to make this haversack as nice as I possibly can, it's an accessory I'm definitely going to put on it, and I did, and I think this turned out really great as well. It's made of 2 pieces. You can see again, this is the same oil tan leather that the bag body is made out of, and you can see just how I did that, sort of cut these oblong shapes into it to be able to thread the shoulder strap through. And then the underside is thick veg tan leather that I dyed, and you can see that the stitching is recessed within that veg tan, so that when you're wearing this across your shoulder, you know, your collarbone will be protected from some of the weight. It'll spread that over, but also the stitching isn't going to get as much wear. Taking a look at the back of the haversack now, and here are the other 2 metal pieces on the bag. These are solid antique brass O-rings. I canted the anchors for the shoulder strap. I don't know if it's completely necessary, but I kind of just like it. And these anchors again are made out of really thick 8 to 9 ounce premium veg tan leather that I dyed, conditioned, beveled, burnished the edges. The gusset is 1 piece of leather. So starting up here, coming around to the bottom of the bag, and then moving to the front, or excuse me, the other side, 1 continuous piece of leather. You can see up top here that I did some reinforcing stitching, guess we can call that, because you know, this might be an area of more wear on the bag if you're pulling it open, getting things in and out. So I just wanted to give us a little bit more strength to the top of where these sections of leather meet. So there's one more detail I want to share with you on the bag, and again, it kind of falls under the category of ease of repair should anything need repaired. And starting here, working its way out towards the top of the bag, is 1 stitch. So there's 2 stitches per side, if that makes sense. So I start a stitch here, run this way, end it, start a stitch, run this way. So that way, if this bag ever does, or a stitch ever comes out, it's the same as the front on the back, that you only have to repair 1/4 of the stitching as opposed to maybe half of it at any given time. If you don't know, I have an Etsy store and a separate Instagram account, Krik Handmade, which is where I'm selling all of my handmade leather goods. And this bag is available for purchase. There is free shipping on this bag within the US right now. I'm still only shipping within the US, but if you're outside the US and you're interested in anything I make or custom work, send me an email directly. You can contact us through Blackout, that's fine, I'll see that. And yes, this bag is for sale, and I'm hoping to sell it because, you know, I need the monies. But I also like sharing my handmade goods to potentially inspire you out there who are into making your own handmade crafts as well. When I first started making leather goods, I had no intention of selling anything. It was just for fun. It was a hobby to keep me sane while I was recovering from foot surgery. But it's blossomed into much more than that. So let me know what you think about this haversack. Think I did a good job? The color coordination, or the color combinations, the texture I tried to give, all of that. Let me know what you think. To the next video, this is Krik with Blackout. Later, turtles.